Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching the Patreon bonus story. Let's get right to it, Jesse. What is this guy doing? This guy looks like a massive dude. Look at those thighs.
This guy has some of the biggest quads I've ever seen on a person. So today, he's going to be toasting bread using a toaster and an exercise bike.
Wait a minute. Okay, maybe we should just go to the video and...
Yeah, let's take a look.
Ready? Everything is okay with the handlebar, seat post, shoes, seat. Okay.
Everyone on positions now. We're getting ready for take. And remember that when Robert loses power, the toaster will pop up.
You can feel like taste of blood in your mouth. And want to lie down?
My legs hurt.
Put them up. The monster is beaten.
Nobody can believe if you do it at the breakfast inside the toaster. Nobody can believe how much work it is to toast it.
No.
I know it now. It's crazy. It's fucking hard.
Thank you. Okay.
I want a picture with you, Robert.
Okay.
Nu kan alla ta selfies med honom.
Dina ben så smala ut. Your looks look very tiny.
My legs are tiny.
Well, I have.
Let me get this straight. The energy he just put into that exercise bike was put into the toaster to toast the bread.
Yes.
And he is out, I mean, he is the best bicyclist
He's an
I've ever
Olympian. He's an Olympic athlete.
This guy, he was going up a plane of what, 38 degrees or something?
Yeah, it was equivalent to some ridiculous speed and
like if I
work.
was just on that bike for like a second, I would be out of breath and dead.
Yeah,
This guy
he toasted a piece of bread.
Wait, so but you're telling me that that's how much energy it takes to toast a piece of bread? Like I've never seen it in that way. Like I knew it was a lot of electricity. I know my toaster draws like 1500 watts, but to see how much effort that guy took.
Right, and I mean we've all probably seen like, oh, it's a stationary bicycle that's hooked up to like a light bulb, and you can make the light bulb get pretty bright by pedaling. But when you actually need to heat something up, holy moly, does that use a lot of electricity?
Yeah.
Interesting thing that I've found out is that my Leaf uses way more energy to heat the air in my Leaf.
Yeah, you were mentioning
it's 3.5 kilowatts. That guy was producing 0.7 kilowatts.
Wait, so he was producing about 700 watts.
700 watts.
Your car uses 3,500 watts.
Right.
to heat the air.
Right.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's insane.
But it just shows you how much energy it takes to heat something.
Right. And
right, because he's only heating a small piece of bread.
Right, and so at the very end it shows how much he actually produced. He only produced something like 21 watt-hours of power.
That makes me appreciate my electric car even more. I just want to go out and like appreciate it.
I mean, it really makes me appreciate how amazing like batteries are and motors and all this kind of stuff.
Did you know that the Model 3 gets 124 miles to the gallon equivalent? Obviously, it's not gallons. That's amazing when you think about the fact that you've never driven in a car that could get 124 miles to the gallon.
It's true.
Absolutely. And the Model 3 is not even the most efficient car.
Right. I mean, it really, yeah, I mean,
I just love this because it shows the power of electricity. Now, I want to go to a video that does not make me feel as warm and fuzzy.
Okay.
This is Jim Chanos, and he has been shorting Tesla stock, I think, since he was born.
And so he's in trouble.
Yeah.
He's in big trouble.
let's just watch this.
Yeah.
Let's just say we think Mr. Musk and Tesla has a broad interpretation of the truth. You know, there have been all kinds of announcements that this company has made, just in flippant comments that are public statements that turned out not to be true. For example, most recently, he unveiled the Tesla Semi, and the Roadster. And he said the Semi will be available in 2019, the Roadster in 2020. Where is he producing those? Those production lines have to be up and approved now, years before we get final production.
But there are companies like Pepsi who are happy to give them the money now to reserve that. What do you think those announcements are all about?
Those are all about being green and showing their customers. You know, Mercedes-Benz has electric semis on the roads right now testing. You don't hear them crowing about this every day. You don't see the CEO, you know, coming out. They're on the roads testing. And so it's not as if electric semi-cabs are new. They've been out. And so it's remarkable that this company keeps hyping things that are all the way out. I was in Detroit yesterday and spent the evening before, some auto execs and talking about this. And you know, they're sort of shaking their heads because already Detroit has leapfrogged Tesla in autonomy. GM is certainly at or past their level. The Germans are past their level. Waymo, which is at level 4, Google's operation is at level 4. Tesla's at 2. Audi's at 3. So you already have a company that is supposedly a technological leader that is behind in the most exciting part of the technology, autonomy. And so we're puzzled. But don't ask us. Just ask the scores of executives who have left in the last 2 years.
Yeah, there has been a lot.
We have a spreadsheet, and I have to keep expanding the spreadsheet because it keeps growing. So,
but by the way, the
what
shares
do they see?
Are up 50, probably still something like 50% this year. How long can you afford to keep staying short for the company?
Well, the stock has underperformed the market for the last 3 years, Kelly. The stock was at 280 in 2014. The market's up about 40–50% since then. So it depends on where you want to start your analysis. And again, I kind of, to me, where the stock is now is not the story, i.e. where it's been, it's the opportunity. Is it a buy here or is it a sell here? I don't really care that it came from 30 or 200 or 300.
But it's still a sell here as far as you're concerned.
Oh, we're still short, yeah.
And do you have a price target in mind?
Well, we think the equity's worthless, so how's zero?
Zero. That's a pretty aggressive one.
No, we think the equity's not worth anything.
But aren't they like shale, where they can keep going as long as people give them capital, including deposits for future vehicles?
Right. That's going to be the problem, I think. That, in fact, a company that wholly dependent on the capital markets has to assume that the capital markets will always stay open to them. And that's a very dicey proposition in my lifetime. The capital markets close from time to time.
I just want to start off. I want to start off with this one point.
Well, I have to go sell on my Tesla stock, Jesse, because he said it's worth zero. He said the company is worth absolutely nothing.
That is the stupidest thing you could possibly say about any company.
Well, no, I mean, he said that Elon doesn't, he doesn't deliver, and
this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. First of all, even if the company all of a sudden was like, oh, we're not going to make any more cars. Everyone died. They'd still be worth money because they have a factory. They have 2 factories, 3 factories. They have all of this wonderful intellectual property. They have all of these machines. I mean, just the robots.
I think
if
you're
you went to go
overestimating.
sell the robots,
no, I think
you would have more than $0.
I think you're overestimating it. I think the
It's
reason why
ridiculous.
it's worth zero is because all they do is make batteries. That's lame. All they do is make solar panels. That's lame. All they do is make cars. Nobody wants their cars. They're just changing the industry to make it so that robots can make things faster.
I mean, this guy has run out of excuses.
He is so scared. You can tell he is so scared. He's throwing stuff against the wall to try and make it so that his company doesn't lose more money. Because do you understand what he's done? He's invested against Tesla as they go up in value, and they will continue to go up in value.
Losing money.
That's just my opinion. That he's losing money. And so he needs everyone to freak out and sell the stock. Now, the best arguments he came up with were about the lamest arguments I've ever heard. And he's done this so many times. He's like they're on this little parade with Lutz and him, and they just keep coming out.
Right. MSNBC is, I'm sorry, ugh.
Yeah, and if you're going to have Jim Chanos on there, put another person next to him who can argue his points. Don't just let him talk for minutes on end.
Okay, so let's just, first of all, I'll be that guy. Okay. He says, look at Mercedes-Benz. They have an electric truck.
Yeah.
Their electric truck has nowhere near the range of the Tesla
Did he
Semi.
forget that, first of all, yes, that range is the most important thing in trucking?
80 miles a truck is, I'm sorry, where are you going to be trucking
He was comparing apples and oranges. Their truck is a city truck.
Right.
You drive stuff around a city.
Absolutely.
Tesla's truck can go 6 or 7 times as far.
Right. And probably cost the same. I mean, we don't even know what the prices of the Mercedes are, but the Tesla can already compete with the big trucks, the trucks that you can buy now and haul stuff with.
Also, he makes it sound like all these other truck companies had already been in this field and that Tesla is a latecomer. Tesla's the first one into the arena and is forcing them all to get into this arena.
And he's scoffing at the 2019 number, like, oh, well, they're going to come out in 2019. I don't see how they're going to be able to do this.
Yeah, he says that they don't have a factory for it. What are you talking about? They have something called a Giga factory?
Right, and the Fremont factory, they have plenty of, and I mean, they're constantly expanding and buying new places.
Exactly.
2019, I mean, we've only had this YouTube channel for about a year and a half, and the expansion and growth that we've seen of Tesla in that short period of time, which is less time than between now and 2019.
Yeah, I also want to point out, when you're building an electric truck, it's almost the same as building a Model S or X or 3. Because it's the same motor, it's the same battery packs, so it's not like you have to reinvent anything. They basically, it's an amazing product that uses what they're already making.
Right. And then when he says that, and also, GM is overtaking Tesla in autonomous driving, they don't sell cars that drive themselves.
They bought companies. They went out and spent cash to buy companies that Tesla just made in-house and just increased their value. This is Mr. They're worth nothing. They just made a company from scratch that people would pay billions for. Jim, I am sorry to say, your shorting Tesla days are numbered.
No, I think that he's just going to have to continue shorting it until the end of time.
No, you can't, though. You run out of money. You can't short a stock forever. You eventually have to buy it back. And when you buy it back, thank you, Jim, you're going to help the stock price. So,
yeah. Well, when is he going to have to buy it back? Because he must be hoping that it's going to die.
Yeah, he's desperate. He needs it very soon. I mean, basically, you short it, and then you have a certain amount of time to buy it back.
When is he going to?
Well, it depends when he started shorting, but I'm thinking very soon.
So you think like he'll just sort of show up and like all of his clothes will be kind of torn, and he's going to be like, oh, hi guys, sorry, I had to sleep outside tonight.
He's a billionaire, so he's probably got other moves that he's making, but I'm sure this one's going to hurt him a lot.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, thank you so much for being wonderful people and supporting us on Patreon.
Yeah, tell us what you think about Jim, and tell us what you think about toasting bread with an exercise bike.
If you have any videos of you toasting toast with a exercise bike.
Oh yeah, that would be.
I'd love to see it, because that'd be hilarious. But don't hurt yourself.
Or the toast.
Or the bike.
All right, guys.
All right, so thank you so much for being Patreon patrons. I know that we say it every week, but we really can't say it enough. Yeah. What you do is amazing. We couldn't do this kind of show without you. Everything...
It takes a lot of the stress off. It really does, because, I mean, well, first of all, there would be no stress because there wouldn't be a show. But without you, we would always be worrying about trying to get enough money to pay for the editing, pay for the equipment.
Right, and that would mean that we would just be trying to get more views.
And we would be doing all that clickbait stuff.
It would just be all clickbait.
And that's the problem with YouTube right now. Don't you realize that, folks? There's very few channels that aren't just clickbait.
Right. I mean, and we hope that we are bringing quality content to you and that you're enjoying watching it and that, you know, you're coming back time after time, not because we're saying like, oh, Zach's completely bald now, or like, you know, something ridiculous.
I am almost bald.
No, you're not. You're fine. You know, we want it to be that, you know, you know that when you click on a video of ours that you're going to be seeing information that, you know, is current and is accurate, and that hopefully we can dispel, that we can dispel some of the crap that you're going to be watching on TV that's gotten through, you know, that...
Because, you know, when you sit down for your holiday meal, you're going to be talking to a relative who saw Jim Chanos and is like, oh, I heard Tesla's not worth anything.
Right, because when you watch TV, it's going through, you know, many, many different channels, many different filters and levels, and so there are people in that hierarchy that have agendas. They want, you know, oh, we got to make sure that Tesla stock drops. And so that's what they hear. The executive producers of this show are sitting in front of you right now. We are always the final deciders of what goes on to our show. And so, you know, we appreciate your feedback as Patreon patrons because, I mean, honestly, you are helping to create this show.
That's true. I mean, you have direct connection to us. I love responding to you guys and hearing your thoughts. I mean, that's fantastic. It makes us a community. So thank you again.
Thanks.